The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of our democracy. And over the next few months, we are going to show that to the world.
President Obama called for all Americans to unite behind President-elect Trump, even though his unexpected victory is a sharp repudiation of Mr. Obama's progressive agenda.
We will renegotiate NAFTA, stand up to China, and stop the job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Mr. Trump has vowed to withdraw the U.S. from free trade agreements, scrap the Iranian nuclear deal, and immediately repeal Obamacare, the president's signature achievement.
We will do it very, very quickly. It is a catastrophe.
Surrounded by a crowd of visibly disappointed staff, the president tried to be gracious in defeat.
That's the way politics works sometimes. We try really hard to persuade people that we're right. And then people vote. And then if we lose, we learn from our mistakes, we do some reflection, we lick our wounds, we brush ourselves off, we get back in the arena.
Tomorrow, President Obama will do something else he never imagined: welcome Donald Trump to the Oval Office. The First Lady will also meet with Melania Trump, an image of unity, Scott, in a divided America.
World leaders tonight sending messages, and Vladimir Putin, one of the first to weigh in.
At the Kremlin, President Putin said Trump's victory was a chance to repair relations with America. It's not our fault they're in such poor shape, he said, but Russia is ready to restore them. Russia's enthusiasm for Donald Trump's win was on show at watch parties all over Moscow.
This is the victory that American people brought to the whole world.
We will get along with all other nations, willing to get along with us.
The election of Donald Trump is a pivotal moment in US-Russian relations. The Kremlin has welcomed the vote, expressing hope for a top-to-bottom review of issues that have poisoned ties between these two former Cold War rivals. Issues like Crimea, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. Trump has suggested he would recognise Russian sovereignty. And on Syria, where Trump has indicated he favours joining forces with Russia to eliminate groups like Islamic State. Trump's presidency may also be positive for the Russian economy, currently under US sanctions. Russian officials say a less confrontational US foreign policy would unlock major opportunities for trade and investment.
Europe's far right is pretty pumped about Donald Trump's surprising presidential election win on Wednesday. Far-right politicians from across Europe were some of the first to congratulate Trump on his victory. And those politicians and the political movements they represent see Trump's victory as a sign of greater political shifts on the horizon.
The lesson for the Europeans is that look at America. What America can do, we can do as well.
Some of the far-right parties seem ready to imitate Trump to try and win over voters in their own countries. One Dutch politician said he has such a small campaign staff, so he relied very heavily on the ground on people in cities organizing things. That's something I'm trying to copy. And an anti-immigration party from Austria even sent members to the US to study Trump's campaign. The party could win the Austrian presidency on December 4th. This is all part of a trend across Europe where far-right parties are gaining popularity, mostly through the use of anti-immigrant sentiment, economic fears, and emotional appeals.
Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has voiced his congratulations for Donald Trump after his election win and said on Wednesday he would like to stop quarreling with the United States, recalling his anger at the Obama administration for criticizing him. Duterte said, "I would like to congratulate Mr. Donald Trump. Long live."
China also sent its congratulations. According to China's state media, Chinese President Xi Jinping sent a congratulatory message to Trump and told him that the world's two biggest economies bear the special responsibility of promoting global development and prosperity. President Xi also emphasized the importance he places on the U.S.-China relationship and said that he looks forward to working with Trump in expanding their ties in every field.
And that breaking news tonight, gunfire has erupted in downtown Seattle near one of the many protests that took place across the country less than 24 hours after Donald Trump became president-elect. 5 people are hurt, 2 of them with life-threatening injuries.
So right now, police do not believe the shooting is related to the demonstration. All of this is coming, though, as leaders from both parties push for calm after a very divisive political season.
Good evening. I'm Alice Gaynor.
And I'm Dick Brennan. Welcome to the News at 9. We begin with that breaking news. One day after Donald Trump's presidential victory, massive crowds charged streets across the country in protest.
A small group of dozens quickly grew to upwards of 10,000, and the crowd continues to grow as protesters march to Trump Tower, bringing traffic to a halt.
TV 1055's Andrew Grimes is outside Trump Tower where protesters are still gathered.
Dick and Alice, this is a massive protest. They have taken over Fifth Avenue here near Trump Tower on the street. Several thousand protesters angry at the election results and President-elect Donald Trump. There is no official word yet on the number of people out here protesting, but at least several thousand, unofficially about 7,000 to 10,000 who are out here protesting tonight. This started around 6 o'clock this evening in Union Square, with marchers starting initially on the sidewalk, making their way north, but then moving on to the street. They've marched on Broadway, moving further east to 6th Avenue, and then here to 5th Avenue. There have been a lot of signs, a lot of chants, a lot of expletives, chants of Black Lives Matter, chants of Love Trump's Hate, and other things we can't officially say on television. There have been other protests across the country as well, including cities like Philadelphia and Chicago. As for here in New York City, we're told there have been multiple arrests, but no word on that exact number or what the people were arrested for.
Some Trump fans gloated. Some Clinton supporters wailed. Lady Gaga, who changed her Twitter display name from #VoteHillary to #CountryOfKindness, urged the nation to say a prayer. Katy Perry, a vocal Clinton supporter, posted on Twitter, "Do not weep. Move. We are not a nation that will let hate lead us." Miley Cyrus posted a tearful video to Twitter in which she said in part, "Donald Trump, I accept you, and that's hard to say, but I even accept you as the President of the United States, and that's fine." On the other side, celebrities like Hulk Hogan and Stephen Baldwin were thrilled with the Trump win.
If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then God says, I will hear from heaven. So we're here tonight, not to pray for any candidate or to pray against any candidate. We're here for God to intervene once again.
And we understand, God, that you are the God who ordains world leaders. Hosea 4:8-4 says, they set up kings without my consent. They choose princes without my approval. So Father God, I pray tonight, oh God, create in us, create in your church, create in your believers a clean heart and renew a right spirit within us. So leaders, oh God, will be chosen that meet your approval.
This election, this year, the 2016 election, is by far the most important ever in the history of America, because it will determine whether or not America has a future or not. America cannot survive more years like the most recent years we've had in terms of turning away from God, failing to stand with Israel, violating the definition of marriage, killing babies in the womb.
And there's been reaction from across the Middle East. Of course, during the Barack Obama presidency, relations with Israel had worsened. Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has congratulated Donald Trump and even called him a true friend of the state of Israel.
Israel's right wing very much celebrated a Trump victory, and almost immediately after the election results came in, called on President-elect Donald Trump to move the American embassy to Israel from where it is now in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. That would effectively be the United States recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. That would buck the United Nations and decades of U.S. policy when it comes to Jerusalem. But that was a campaign promise of Donald Trump, and it's now those right-wing leaders, including the Jerusalem mayor and Israel's right-wing justice minister, who called on Donald Trump to make good on that promise.
President-elect Trump
my friend, congratulations on being elected President of the United States of America. You are a great friend of Israel. Over the years, you've expressed your support consistently, and I deeply appreciate it. I look forward to working with you to advance security, prosperity, and peace. Israel is grateful for the broad support it enjoys among the American people, and I'm confident that the two of us, working closely together, will bring the great alliance between our two countries to even greater heights. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. May God bless our enduring alliance.
Netanyahu's office says he spoke on the phone with Donald Trump on Wednesday evening, and that Trump invited Netanyahu to the United States for a meeting as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Palestinian leaders offered short, it seemed formal messages of congratulations to Donald Trump, saying they're willing to work with any American president who supports a two-state solution, an Israeli state and a Palestinian state, with East Jerusalem as its capital. That, it seems, would be problematic, since part of Donald Trump's campaign promise to Israel was to recognize Jerusalem as the eternal, undivided capital of Israel.
Donald Trump's running mate, Vice President-elect Mike Pence, is known as a devout conservative Christian who has said he does not support same-sex marriages and does support allowing businesses to deny service to gays on religious beliefs.
Now, many people in the LGBT community are wondering how the new administration could impact them.
All of us to move forward for freedom, justice, and equality for all.
Malik Muhammad and Gretchen Osterman are faculty here at Bloomsburg University and run the LGBTQA Resource Center here on campus. Not only do they provide education and information for the gay community, they provide a safe space for students.
Come and just hang out. You know, a lot of times on college campuses, students that identify within the queer community don't have a space to kind of declare their own, and this is kind of what we provide for them.
After last night's historic presidential election, Donald Trump's mate Mike Pence will now usher in a new administration in the next year. That's made many in the LGBT community uneasy, as Pence, a staunch Christian conservative, is not in support of same-sex marriage. Both Pence and Trump support the First Amendment Defense Act, which would allow businesses and organizations to deny service to gays on religious grounds.
This comes down to a basic human rights issue, and to take away those rights and to try to alienate us in a way that Pence and potentially Trump are trying to do is just totally disheartening.
There's so many very happy marriages that have come out in the last few years. People that are close to me that have made decisions to become married and become partners forever.
With Trump vowing to repeal all that the Obama administration has put in place, Muhammad and Osterman say they only hope he doesn't attempt to undo the progress the gay community has made over the last 8 years.
Of course, my hope is not that they would respect the Supreme Court ruling, and that if they attempted that process, that our community and many other communities would have outcry.
According to the LGBT Resource Center, November is Transgendered Awareness Month. The center has events planned throughout the month.
Mr. Trump, you're pro-life, but I want to ask you specifically, do you want the court, including the justices that you will name, to overturn Roe v. Wade, which includes, in fact, states a woman's right to abortion?
Well, if that would happen, because I am pro-life and I will be appointing pro-life judges, I would think that that will go back to the individual states.
But I'm asking you specifically, would you like to...
If they overturned it, it'll go back to the states.
But what I'm asking you, sir, is do you want to see the court overturn? You just said you want to see the court protect the Second Amendment. Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court. I will say this, it will go back to the states, and the states will then make a determination.
One of the biggest things on Donald Trump's White House agenda will be filling a Supreme Court vacancy. Justice Antonin Scalia died in February, and the Senate has refused to consider President Obama's nominee for the seat. Now, that has left only 8 justices on the court. 4 are considered liberal, for our conservative. Juliana Goldman is here with the president-elect's possible candidates. Juliana, good morning.
Good morning. Well, Donald Trump comes into office with a Republican Senate, and that means he has the power to reshape the Supreme Court for a generation. It's not just the seat that's been empty since Antonin Scalia died in February, but there's the potential for several more vacancies over the next 4 years. And Republicans really did make a gamble by refusing to take up President Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland, arguing that the next president should decide who replaced Scalia. And now it looks like that strategy paid off, because we're really back to square one here. The Garland nomination is dead in the water. Now, Donald Trump has promised to appoint anti-abortion justices who would overturn Roe versus Wade and uphold gun rights under the Second Amendment. He's also said he would strongly consider justices who want to walk back same-sex marriage. And in September, he provided a list of more than 20 potential conservative nominees. That list includes judges appointed by Republican presidents, state Supreme Court justices, and even a U.S. senator. One question, obviously, is how do Democrats respond, especially given how Republicans blocked the Garland nomination? Republicans will not have a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. And one of the questions Democrats are waking up to this morning is how difficult they'll decide to make this for the Republican majority and President Trump. Charlie?
The boycott against Starbucks holiday cups got a powerful new ally Monday.
I have one of the most successful Starbucks in Trump Tower. Maybe we should boycott Starbucks. I don't know. Seriously. I don't care. By the way, that's the end of that lease, but who cares?
Trump also told the Springfield, Illinois crowd, if I become president, we're all going to be saying Merry Christmas again. That I can tell you. Starbucks recently angered a group of Christians when it launched a holiday cup opting for a simple two-tone red design. In a Facebook post, one of the leaders of the campaign against the cups said Starbucks removed Christmas from their cups because they hate Jesus.
Following controversy from last year's subdued red cups, Santa Claus, reindeer, and snowflakes are returning to Starbucks holiday cups. In total, 13 different cups will be in stores worldwide Thursday. The cups were designed by customers who uploaded pictures of their designs on Instagram last year. The outcry over 2015's plainer designs grew after now President-elect Donald Trump proposed boycotting the store. During a Wednesday event in New York, CEO Howard Schultz said the company was surprised by last year's controversy. It's just a cup, he joked.
We have been through an interesting year as a nation, and we await the results of tonight's election. But here's what I know for sure. Here's what I know. There is still no nation on earth that I would rather be. Despite all of our challenges, there is no country and there is no people on this planet that I would trade places with. I am glad that I'm an American in the 21st century. America's going to be okay. We will turn this country around. I have faith. I know God is not done with America yet. He has great plans for our people. And I'll close with this. I hope this nation tonight, irrespective of the outcome for president, that we will all say a prayer for our great country. Because as the ancient words of Scripture tell us, unless the Lord build the house, they labor in vain who build. And unless the Lord guard the city, in vain does the guard keep watch. Let us work together. God bless this great nation. Thank you for the opportunity to continue to serve. God bless all of you. And God bless Florida. Thank you.